calling for Donald Trump to be kicked off Twitter, this time for a very different reason. Cal State Sacramento professor Joseph Palermo wrote in the Huffington Post, quote, "If Trump and his cohort believe the science of global warming is bogus, then they should not be allowed to use the science of the internet for their Twitter accounts." Professor Palermo, who specializes in American history, joins us now. Professor, thanks a lot for coming on. So I'm assuming you were speaking not literally but figuratively about Trump being banned from Twitter. I don't imagine as a professor you're in favor of banning people from expressing themselves. But what point were you trying to make?
Well, thank you for having me on so I could clarify it. I think what happened was I was visiting family in Wyoming, and they're very excited about the fossil fuel boom that they expect. And some of my relatives believe the Earth is 6,000 years old, and they were using technology to kind of prove that on the internet. And I thought it's kind of ironic for people who kind of denounce science in one area that they don't want to believe, but then they benefit from science in these other areas. And the
I hope
idea
you set them
was
straight, those silly religious people who don't even have tenure or a cushy job like you do. Yeah.
They're my loved ones, and hey, I wish I had a cushy job. You're talking to a first person in his family to go to college, but listen, Tucker, let me just clarify. It was a rhetorical point that I accept the science of climate change,
right,
as does, I've been told, even Rex Tillerson does now, and the Pentagon does, and here I'm in the state capitol, the governor, the legislature. It wasn't uncontroversial for me to accept the science of climate change that 98% of the world scientists believe is true. No amount of ideology is going to change the physics of that. What I meant was it was misconstrued on some of these right-wing websites. They didn't really read it. I think they came up with some really catchy headlines to get clickbait, to get eyeballs.
We quoted it. No, I mean, look, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I don't think you meant that the police should ban him from Twitter. Okay. But I am interested in the claims you've made about climate science, that it's settled and that 98% of worldwide scientists believe that. How do you know that? Are you a scientist, or have you polled other scientists, or where'd you get that figure?
Well, see, you know, that's another one of those interesting kind of questions, is that wasn't what the blog was about. I was accused of advocating censorship.
You just said, I'm not, by the way, I'm not holding you to account for censorship. I'm asking about the claim you just made, that 98% of the world's scientists believe in something called climate science. Maybe you can explain what that is in a minute. But first, how do you know that 98% of the world's scientists believe what you believe?
Well, listen, Tucker, I didn't want to get into, are you a climate change denier? Are you a skeptic, or what is it? I mean, is that where you're at? Is that really what you're
The essence of science and of journalism is skepticism, because it seeks to get to the truth. And I'm merely asking you, as someone who just said, as a statement of fact, that 98% of the world's scientists agree with you, with whatever you believe. I'm wondering how you know that.
Oh, okay. Well, science is not just what I believe, Tucker. I mean, all you need to do.
But how do you know 98% of the science? I mean, I often hear people say that. How do you know that? It's just a simple question. How do you know that?
Well, you know what? With your giant research team, you could send people out and find out about it. I was accused of advocating censorship of the President of the United States by a bunch of right-wing websites. Now, you tell me, could a professor in California censor the President of the United States? I mean, that's such an absurd idea.
Professor, I'm not accusing you of that. In fact, I opened by saying your science. I get it. I'm not accusing you of censorship. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm merely asking you to explain something you just said live on our show, which is that 98% of the scientists in the world agree with you. And the answer, of course, is you have no idea.
That's it.
What climate science is, really, and you have no idea that 90% of the world's scientists agree with you, because that's unknowable, right?
Well, let me tell you.
I gotta stop. This fight's finished. I gotta call it. You can't do no more out there. We're here fighting. We don't stop this fight, no matter what.
They predicted a long time ago that we would have high precipitation events and low precipitation events. Well, in California, we have both. We have droughts and wildfires, which are low precipitation events. We're having high precipitation events, which is like flooding and hurricanes and really strong weather.
These 98%
climate scientists. How about NOAA? You believe in NASA, NOAA, DARPA, the Pentagon? Really, Tucker? You're going to contradict the Pentagon? The Pentagon accepts climate change, climate science.
I'm merely saying you're practicing a species of religion where anybody who doesn't agree with what you believe is a heretic and should be penalized. No, because the essence of science is asking questions. And I asked you a very direct question, and you couldn't answer it because you have no idea what the answer is.
No, I can't.
But it doesn't stop you from running around talking about science, science this, science that. But you don't know.
Oh, so it is a debate about climate change. Okay, fine. But if you go to a doctor, you don't say, well, I need heart surgery, but you must, how do you know how to do it? Well, guess what? There's trained scientists in NOAA and NASA, even the Pentagon, all over the world.
Questions. Now, you don't just say, I need my leg amputated. Okay, go ahead and say, well, why is that? And what exactly is wrong? Normal people ask questions, and they're not shouted down for it. What you're trying to do to me is call me names because I'm asking you questions that you can't answer.
I'm not calling you anything. I'm not calling you anything.
Climate
denier. Well, no, I asked you if you are a skeptic or a denier. That's fine.
I'm a skeptic of everything, including your answers.
Okay.
Which don't make any sense.
When you get on a plane, are you skeptical of the pilot's trained to fly it?
Always,
I mean, I don't get it.
And if the pilot smells like booze, I'm happy to ask questions about whether he's fit to fly because I'm an adult who's autonomous, and I can ask questions like an adult. But you're a member of a religious sect that can't deal with honest questions, and that's my only point.